Hey, you guys, if you are liking what you're hearing on Exmormonology, please leave a review in Apple iTunes and click the star button. And of course, subscribe. I am releasing episodes every week to help you navigate your life after Mormonism in healthy ways, ways that you feel empowered and that better your life. Exmormonology, Episode 6. All right, here we go. Another week, another episode, another, little plot along your journey after Mormonism. What I want to make really clear about my podcast is this isn't for everybody. This is for you if you're ready to kind of dive deep, right? This isn't a place where there will be bitching and moaning about the church. I think I've said this before. I can go there with you if we're sitting down having some coffee together. But I'm of no good to you if I'm splashing around in the pool. So today I want to talk about something along the lines of tornadoes. So go with me, if you will, to Kansas. We're going to sit on the outskirts and we're going to watch a tornado blow through. Now, I don't know if you've ever actually seen a tornado or if you've just, experienced it through The Wizard of Oz. What I love about The Wizard of Oz, now that I'm thinking about it, there are just so many metaphors that come out of that movie. And most of you probably know of the pulling back of the curtain. I love that moment. And that's what a lot of us feel when we've gone through our faith crisis. We've pulled back the curtain on what we thought was Mormonism, and we found out it's not exactly what we thought. Right? We're probably all on that same page. Today, I'm going to talk more about the tornado side of The Wizard of Oz, right? And I use this today with a couple that I'm life coaching through some things. Hello, if you're listening. I love you guys. You know that. And I want to share it with you because I think it's very applicable to what we go through as we have, I've referred to it as free falling. But I just had this I'm always thinking about how I can teach you guys concepts and how I can help you. And being that I've been through the hardest part of my faith crisis, I'm, over a decade out of it. And I have to look back and I think about when I was, going through it. And I say there's a 2-year tornado, give or take. And what's happening is you are experiencing your life in a tornado. And it's very hard to see outside of the tornado and see the tornado moves on, right? So imagine where you are if you're in it and you're literally in the tornado moments of your faith crisis where you can't really see up from down. Everything is swirling around you. Every belief you've ever had, every thought you've had about the church, every vision you had of what your life was going to be, the relationships you have and what they've meant to you so far, everything feels very different. And what I see happening with a lot of people is you're just spinning. You are just in that tornado. You're moving up and down, right? And many of us are now trying to make new decisions and to figure out what our new paradigm is, and we don't really know yet. And so I like the metaphor of the tornado because if you know anything about tornadoes, they don't last forever and they move on, right? So stand with me on the outskirts of the tornado and we're looking at the tornado blowing through a town, right? And it eventually moves on and what's left would be the debris of what the tornado left in its wrath. And so now you're standing there looking at your life as the relationship with your husband is over there, your kids are over here, your church manuals are over here, your beliefs about, eternity and temple marriage and just all of it, your belief even in Jesus Christ and or a God or, what the hell? What happens, so many of us make very rash decisions while we have just either been flowing around inside the tornado or shortly thereafter, right? Maybe it's ending relationships. Maybe it's throwing out the baby with the bathwater, as they say. And then we're left with kind of what happens after. And I guess the reason I'm talking to you about this today is because I really want you to start paying attention to what is happening. And just like you couldn't see that this was going to be coming, we can't see what's going to happen tomorrow, or the next day, or 5 years down the road. And it's okay to slow down. I know it's very easy to want to throw anything you had in relationship to the church away when you feel hurt and you feel betrayed and you feel uncomfortable and you feel confused. Okay, those are all just your body's way of talking to you right now. Your body and your heart are trying to connect and figure out up from down. And it's very hard to figure out up from down when you feel like you're swirling around in the middle of the tornado. And so the work that I do with you is helping you slow down and helping you take a breath and realize that everything we do going forward now, we're going to slow down and we're going to think things through and feel what we're feeling and process the pain, right? I did a whole episode on processing your pain, and that might be a good one for you to listen to if you haven't already. It's a very big piece of the puzzle, because what I'm finding out as I work with my clients is they come to me and they're like, okay, I've been through this. This was hard, and now I'm ready to move on. But they haven't done the work of what processing the pain is, or even organizing your thoughts, because it just feels like one big mess. And so my approach to all of this is a little bit different than, there's not like just a rinse and repeat and you're going to have it all figured out, but really paying attention to the thoughts that are going on in your head. What I want you to take away from this week is the whole idea of slowing down. All right. Because if you at any time in your life have ever made a decision under pressure, think about what's going on in your body when that's happening. All right. You're feeling anxious, stressed, maybe confused. Your face flushes, your heart rate goes up, all of those things. Like this might be a silly example, but tell me if you've ever experienced this. You're standing in line at the grocery store and you get done, you've paid with cash, the person gives you your cash back and you want to put it in your wallet. And all of a sudden you feel this pressure to hurry up and get the cash in your wallet because someone behind you is like, would you just hurry and get out of the way? I need to pay for my groceries. All right. Or if you're driving down the road and someone's like on your butt and they're like, you're just like, oh, back off. Right. You just feel a different pressure and you make a different decision when you're feeling pressured. There is zero rush to this process. There's not a destination you're going to arrive at. There's not a final place, right? I want you to slow down and just start being with it all, because then there's no rush and you don't feel that pressure mounting on you to make any decisions quickly. If you're like me, and you've had times in your life where you felt that pressure, maybe you don't always make the best decisions. And so I just kind of want you to be able to process that and to give yourself permission to slow down. All right. Now, and it doesn't even matter what anyone else is doing in their faith crisis or life after faith crisis. You're the boss of your life and you get to decide the speed at which this will happen, slow or fast, the decisions that you get to make. And I know there's so many things that, come in your face as you're doing this, as people find out, as people tell you you're doing it wrong, as people saying you can leave the church and can't leave it alone. We'll talk about that really soon. This is you, and this is your very real experience. When you're able to give yourself time and space to figure this out, the whole process will be calmer for you. It will lessen the confusion because you haven't put yourself under the pressure cooker of I have to figure this out and I have to throw everything else away and I have to stop this relationship or I have to foster these relationships. Okay, just slow down. You've got time. Think of how long you've been in the church. Let's say you've been in the church for 30 years. You have been thinking a certain way for that amount of time. So now you've had that paradigm shift and you no longer subscribe to that full set of beliefs. Now what? All right. We came definitely from the framework of we had all the answers. And now we feel like we know nothing. I think this contributes to the downloading of information stage, right? Because we're trying to download as much information in our brain as we possibly can because we're trying to make sense of what just happened to us. And if you just come out of the tornado, nothing makes sense. So slowing down and giving yourself time to figure it out is a huge gift you can give yourself especially when you don't know where it is you may end up. And since you and I are going to be doing a lot of thought work together, when you can slow down, you can see your thoughts more clearly. All right. That is the whole point of this. You can see your thoughts. You can see the thoughts that are giving you problems. You can see the thoughts that you're getting hung up on. And this way you can connect the emotion to it and what you're feeling, and then see what outcome is happening in your life. And when you're making rash decisions in the middle of the tornado, it just becomes more difficult and more stressful. And I'm wanting you to slow down and be able to digest this experience, because this is going to forever shape your life, no matter where you land. And I guess when I say land, I mean in a future belief somewhere. And when you're in the middle of it all, you don't even know all the things that are going to come at you, right? Thus the free falling, thus the tornado analogy. So slow down. It is going to be okay. Things may change, right? Change is inevitable. Obviously, you're changing, but you will be growing and expanding as a person, and that your faith crisis / awakening will actually be something you're really thankful for eventually. I'd love to hear where you are in your tornado, right? Has the dust settled? Are you going back and picking up the pieces, kind of reassembling life? Are you still standing there dazed and confused and not knowing what just happened? Or are you feeling pretty good and you're taking the pieces to rebuild what you want and creating life from the good parts that you want to take with you and leaving the rest behind? Because it's kind of like that, right? In a tornado, you have the debris left on the ground and you get to make work something that's still sitting there looking at you like, I'm still good. You might have some bruises on you, some scrapes, right? You tend to those wounds. That's so important for you to do this, because this is what life is, right? Life's 50-50. We've got good and the bad and the ugly, as I was just coaching with my clients today as they're going through some stuff. And it's just like, I think we think that we get through what we thought was the hardest part, but sometimes we're just getting through it. All right. So to keep with the tornado, like if you've just landed out of the tornado and you're like, oh, okay, phew, I'm just going to stand here for a second. And then you start building, sometimes those scrapes and bumps and bruises have a little pain that lasts a little longer. And so just slow down, give yourself permission to collect your thoughts, just like you would have to rebuild the structure that came down. Collect your thoughts, pay attention to what you're thinking and feeling, and know that there's no rush. All right, you guys, next week, I'm trying to do a little comic relief here. I have something I want to read for y'all, but I have to get her permission before I share it. It's just something funny I saw on Facebook. So that's what I will be working towards next week. Until then, you guys have a great week and keep on keeping on. You totally got this.